How y'all doing? It's Ricky Taylor, Taylor Cigars, Taylor Handcrafted Knives. I'm going to be doing a cigar rolling video today, and it's not going to be anything special. It's not going to be an instruction. Sometimes the best instruction is just watching somebody else doing something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let y'all watch as I roll 6 cigars or so that I smoke in about a day. And y'all can see how I do it. You can take whatever you need out of it, whatever you want out of it, and sometimes just watching somebody else do something is the best way to learn how to do it. So here we go. Okay, here's how I keep my tobacco in these bins. This is the binder. Keep it under a wet rag. Spray it with distilled water. It keeps them moist, so you're ready to go. Here's my filler. That's what I'm going to be using to make my cigars. And that's the extent of the instruction I'm going to do from now on. I just want y'all to watch me and see how I do it. I might talk a little bit while I'm doing it, simply because there's just too much silence. I'm alone in the house right now, and TV's not on. Taking the main stem out, and I'll have 2 binders. And if I do it right, I'll only need 1 of these per cigar. Put them in there on top of that wet rag to keep them moist. Don't cut yourself when you're using the cesta, because I've cut myself before. It's easy to do. You just it moistens the outside of the leaf when you roll in the cigar. You'll see what I mean. And it glues it all down. It's real rough out here. Just do that. Just do that. Separate some of this filler. Easier to pick up. Now, I know I've always preached the bookbinding method for new people. That's when you lay it down flat and then you roll it up and put it in a binder. But what I normally do when I'm rolling for myself is I use the standard bunch method, which is you roll it up in little tubes and then you bind it. take these big stems out if you can get the big ones out. If they're not too big, just leave it in. Now I'll put this on top of something warm, let it sit for a couple hours, and then take the wrapper off and put it in the humidor. Now if you notice, I always roll the same direction, and if I'm using two halves of the same leaf, I'll roll on one side of one leaf and on the other side of the other leaf, so that the stem was always in the middle here and the rounded part is on the outside. I roll the same way every time. It just makes it easier to master something if you're doing it the same way. It's like second nature to me now. I've rolled thousands of cigars. you could take and cut it off the stem, moisten it up, and you can make a binder out of that. As a matter of fact, it's nicer than the one I'm going to roll it with the inside of. That way you can get free binder out of your filler. There's another one. Look at that. That's nicer than the one I'm going to roll it in. All you got to do is cut it out, moisten it up, set it in with the rest of your moist binder, and use it. I do it every once in a while. Save money. It's all about money. Save that money. We don't want to spend nothing we don't have to. You can be frugal. On a cigar to enjoy it. I like my cigars look rustic, so I don't mind just having a binder on it. And if you get lucky and you practice, you can just use a single binder and it'll be airtight. You want it to be airtight. You don't want any holes in the sides of your cigar because air will get in and it'll ruin the smoke. So you want it to be airtight. Now there's a fat bunch. Take this up here. Ooh, this is gonna be a 60 ring gauge at least. See if I can do this with one binder without splitting it. That's 65 ring gauge if it's an inch. Okay, I had a little I might have to cut off. That's a fatty. That's at least a 65 ring gauge. Done with a single binder of 1/2 of a leaf. When you can do that, 65 ring gauge on not that big of a binder leaf, a single leaf, then you make brag videos. Okay, there we go. You watch me make them. Took about 10 minutes. Put this in the fridge. Keep your glue in the fridge. What we'll do is we'll take a break, about an hour, hour and a half. I'll put these in a warm place. Come back, unwrap them, see what it looks like. Okay, here's what it looks like. Okay, just so you can see, I already took the paper off. And they all pretty much look so. Until next time, roll them.